Janavallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Gauranita Jaya Gauranita Jaya Gauranita Jaya Gauranita Jaya Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivargacharya Sutara Shishimaris Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jaya Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivargacharya Sutara Shishimaris Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki ISKCON BBT Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Ananta Kodi Vaishnavrinda Ki All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees. The holy appearance day of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Ki Jai, Gaur Purnim Sri Mahaprabhu Ki Jai, Jai Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare. All glories, Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasavotala Shrimaditama Krishna Goswami Nam. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasavotala Shrimadi Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namne Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Prachari Nirvisesha Shunivadi Paschyadhyaya Desatarin. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nasya Praishu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Hare Krishna. Good morning. Thank you for coming on a Monday morning, work day, right? But it's also Gopuni. So thank you for coming. Brave souls. But you're living here, so it's not. So I do not know. We are doing Canto 2, the Cosmic Manifestation. Chapter 5, the Cause of All Causes. Text 7. Saha Bhavan Acharat Goram Yattapaha Susamahitaha Tena Kedayase Naha Tvam Para Shankam Cha Yachasi Sabhavan Acharat Goram Sabhavan Acharat Goram Yattapasu Samahitaha Yattapasu Samahitaha Tena kedayase nastvam. Tena kedayase nastvam. Parashankam cha yachasi. Parashankam cha yachasi. Sabhavan acharat goram. Yattapasu samahitaha. Tena kedayase nastvam. Parashankam cha yachasi. Please chant.
Sabhavanacharat goram.
Sabhavanacharat goram.
Yattapasu samahitaha.
Yattapasu samahitaha.
Tena kedayase nastvam.
Tena kedayase nastvam.
Parashankam cha yachasi.
Parashankam cha yachasi. Ladies. Sabhavanacharat goram. Yattapasu samahitaha. Tena kedayase nastvam. Parashankam cha yachasi. Saha. He. Bhavan. Your good self. Acharat. Undertook. Goram. Severe. Yattapaha. Meditation. Susamahitaha. In perfect discipline. Tena. For that reason. Kedayase. Gives pain. Naha. Ourselves. Tvam. Your good self. Para. The ultimate truth. Shankam. Doubts. Cha. And. Yachasi. Giving us a chance. Translation. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Yet we are moved. Now we can repeat together. Translation. Easier that way. Yet we are moved to wonder about the existence of someone more powerful than you when we think of your great austerities in perfect discipline, although your good self is so powerful in the matter of creation. Purport. Following in the footsteps of Sri Narada Muni, one should not blindly accept his spiritual master as God himself. A spiritual master is duly respected on a par with God, but a spiritual master claiming to be God himself should at once be rejected. Narada Muni accepted Brahma as the supreme due to Lord Brahma's wonderful acts in creation, but doubts arose in him when he saw that Lord Brahma also worshipped some superior authority. The Supreme is supreme, and he has no worshipable superior. The Ahangrahopasita, or the one who worships himself with the idea of becoming God himself, is misleading. But the intelligent disciple can at once detect that the Supreme God does not need to worship anyone, including himself, in order to become God. Ahangrahopasana may be one of the processes for transcendental realization, but the Ahangrahopasita can never be God himself. No one becomes God by undergoing a process of transcendental realization. Narada Muni thought of Brahmaji as the Supreme Person, but when he saw Brahmaji engaged in the process of transcendental realization, doubts arose in him, so he wanted to be clearly informed. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jananjana Shalaka Chakshusam Vilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Mukam Garuti Vachulum Pangam Yangate Girim Yad Kripadamam Vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam Paramananda Madham Shri Chaitanya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Savadito Gododaya Pushvanta Chitra Sandha Tamonuda. Okay, so once again, the verse Sa bhavan acharat goram yattaphasu samahitaha tena keda yase nastvam parashankam cha yaschasi. Yet we are moved to wonder about the existence of someone more powerful than you when we think of your great austerities in perfect discipline, although your good self is so powerful in the matter of creation. So here, how to properly understand two things actually, the spiritual master and how to distinguish between the spiritual master and God himself. That's the main thrust here. And it's not a theoretical discussion. You can, but it's more for our own spiritual existence or survival. Yeah? We have to understand who the personality. So, Srila Prabhupada actually explains how Narada, although he travels all over the universe, in this particular case, one may say it may be in the beginning stages, when Narada first became Narada. So he's watching and studying his father, Guru, and although he has a lot of deep respect and so on, he saw something interesting. He honored Brahma as the most supreme person, powerful being, because he had never seen anyone more powerful than Brahma. But then he saw something interesting. He saw that Brahma himself was worshipping someone. Prabhupada writes in the purport. He saw Brahma creating so many personalities, right? Planets, higher planetary, lower planetary, everything. And yet he saw his father worshipping someone higher. And so that created what you can say doubts maybe, but it's not the kind of doubts we have. Our doubts are very disrespectful. So his was more devotional kind, he's more curious, you can say. It wasn't antagonistic, it wasn't trying to find fault or anything, it was much more wondering why is he worshipping someone else? Is there someone else? Yeah. So, the Srila Prabhupada at this moment, you can see, he emphasizes that a spiritual master is honored as God, but he's never God. Prabhupada writes that. Yeah. So we take that. It's an important point for us to really accept. No? Spiritual master is honored as God, but he's not God. Okay? So anyone who claims to be God should be rejected immediately. That's what Prabhupada says. Reject them. Yeah. So we know in the mornings, Mangalarti, we pray, Shakshadaridvena samastra shastre. So that means the spiritual master is our what? What does that mean? He was praying. It means he's non-different from the Supreme Person. He is respected exactly like the Supreme, but he is not God. He is not the Supreme Personality of God here. So that's the emphasis in this purport, that we have to make that distinction, and that distinction should be understood properly. So Narada Muni is very perfect, he's very respectful, he's humble also, obedient, we can analyze from the previous verses and so on. But at the same time, he doesn't blindly accept. And so similarly, when we are practicing, no blind acceptance. And sometimes because we are very simple, or maybe we are very sentimental, we may get dragged by the mass, and therefore we may say, yeah, I guess so. But here you see, Narada is not blind. So then Prabhupada writes also, one should not blindly accept his spiritual master as God himself. Right? So now, he is representing God, but he is not God himself. So that must be very clear. In the early days, when Prabhupada was preaching, some of the disciples, if you read the Lilamrita, they thought Prabhupada was Krishna himself. So they started telling everyone he's God, he's Krishna. So Prabhupada got very disturbed. He said something is contaminating the way they are thinking. And so Prabhupada chastised those disciples. And for their purification, he told them to travel and preach. They were sannyasis and so on. Yeah. Now, the reason Prabhupada wants to emphasize this is because blindly following someone leads to only sentimental. The whole thing becomes a sentimental action, without any philosophy backing it, That's one thing. The other thing is, if you don't have philosophy, then it goes into fanaticism, yeah. And when you are a fanatic, then you don't listen to reason, right? So sometimes you see many different religious groups, they are fanatical about certain things, but you cannot have a decent philosophical discussion to understand why we do certain things, what is the basis for anything we do, right? Even as a doctor, you have to tell your patient the basis for why I'm giving you this lousy medicine or good medicine is there's a reason. You don't blindly say, let's see what medicine I think today. No, or you have a Rolodex and you go through and then say, stop, okay, this is the medicine. It could kill the person, So there's validity in whatever we should be doing, So blindly we don't want to follow, and Srila Prabhupada doesn't want us, because then we show foolishness. We highlight our foolishness. And people who watch us think devotees, ISKCON devotees, are just a bunch of fools or clowns, So we should be very careful. And that's one reason. The other thing is, if you blindly follow someone, they can also turn around and abuse their position. They can exploit their followers for wealth, sense gratification. We've got already our fair share of problems in our movement, So therefore, not only the leader must know that, or the guru must know this, the follower also must know this. Yeah? In most material situation, the leaders don't want the followers to have too much intelligence. Right? So they can exploit them. Yeah? So therefore, they will cut down education, they'll try to, minimize too much knowledge. If you have someone too intelligent, then you can't explain, you get frustrated. But if you have all just blind followers, then you feel, I'm good, I'm on it, Right? It's true. That this is the way the world is. So when one tries to exploit, especially for spiritual side, it's very dangerous, because eventually the guru will fall down. And then when the guru falls, so the disciples don't understand that this is a spiritual problem, spiritual disaster. So obviously we can see Narada doesn't just accept it, he's questioning. So we should also question, but the balance must be there. We should be respectful, we should inquire properly, and then we should be able to discriminate between what is based on scripture and what's not on scripture. Although we can say that, there are also traditions, there are also some things people follow for generation and so on. So sometimes there's a reason behind why they do that. So we have to be able to see clearly why certain things are done in a certain fashion. Some people will do it because it's traditional, and some people do it because they feel that gives them some sense of belonging, But from all intent and purposes, as a devotee, we should see if there's shastric basis for any activities we do. If not, then we can understand it's a tradition, and there is some positive effect of doing that activity. If I give you a very crude example, it's like giving you a drink, right? And if I put 1 teaspoon of sugar, then they say that's how the recipe is. And then you want it more sweet, then you put more sugar in it, and then you will drink it like that. So then if someone comes and says, it's not so sweet, then you say, but that's how it's done, right? So that is just a tradition, but apart from that, it's not more than that. But Shastra means you have to follow certain things. It is based because it's good for everyone. Yeah? Good for the person who's performing it, good for the person who is hearing it or who is receiving it also. So therefore, discrimination must be based on Shastra, and also to see maybe the local people need that kind of impetus to become better. It may not be based on Shastra. So anyway, my point is you have to be balanced in the way you approach sometimes. You can't go to a new place and say, you're wrong because the Shastra says that. That's also extreme. You have to bring people to a certain level where they can see the validity and why it's needed. Huh? So Narada therefore is, although astonished at the potency of Brahma is actually a guna avatar, a Shaktivesha avatar, and yet he's not the supreme. So he's saying he's worshipping someone. So a mature disciple also, sometimes he may notice his guru doing something. Instead of jumping to conclusion, there should be an inquiry. An inquiry should be based on respect and humility. And then the answers that are forthcoming will make sense. One of the things you all should understand, if there's no humility in the way you are approaching anyone to ask, the knowledge cannot be properly processed. Yeah. Because the person who's giving you the knowledge, if he feels that you are not respectful, they may say something, but they are not willing to. Especially scriptural knowledge goes from heart to heart. That's the connection. So if there's no respect, proper respect, the connection doesn't take place. And so you may hear the knowledge, but it doesn't act properly. Yeah. Okay? So basically devotional service shouldn't be blind for all of us, and we should understand through thoughtful, philosophical, and based on our scriptural knowledge. Another reason why all of you should give time and spend time reading Prabhupada's books. Not other books. There's so many books people are producing, but Prabhupada's books are the basis for our society. So you should read that. As a matter of fact, you all should give some time. Daily you should spend at least 15, 20 minutes is also good enough. But there must be some. Acharyam mam vijaniyam. One should see the spiritual master as my representative. Krishna says that. So that is why we honor the spiritual master as good as God. But that he's not God. He's never going to be equal to God. He's never the Supreme Lord also. He's not. Of course, Krishna can take avatar and become a guru and preach, but that's a different matter. But in general, Guru is never equal to God, never God himself. And so therefore, anyone who claims to be God should be rejected at once. Now, there must be a basis for rejection also. You can't just say, he says he's God, I'm rejecting him. No. Because you have to see, God is unlimited, he is omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipotent. Yeah. So, and he's the source of all energies, and it's not like someone becomes God, right? God is always God, yeah. Krishna is always God, whether it's baby Krishna or youth, Kishore or Balya, he is always God. As a Balya, he can kill Putana, you can't kill, right? As Kishore also, he can do amazing activities. So, no matter what you read, no matter what processes there are, karma yoga, you can't do karma yoga and become God. You can't do austerities like Hiranyakashipu and become God. Meditation, you can't become God. So all these processes that you are reading will not make you into a God. So there's no process, even Astanga yoga also. Because there's lack of understanding, so you find in society people who think they can become God. But what is a guru? Guru is actually the transparent via medium. He's not the object of worship, he's the via medium. But you worship him as good as God. So it's a fine line, because if you don't respect, if the respect is not there, then you become offensive to the guru, and therefore that via media becomes opaque. You cannot access. Because Guru Tattva is also a potency of Krishna. And therefore that Shakti is there as long as the Guru is following all the principles and guidance. And therefore they can give you Krishna. Yeah? Okay, so we worship Krishna through the Guru, and not instead of Krishna we worship Guru. So that's the other thing we should understand. It's not that we replacing Krishna worshipping and then we get, no. So, all right. Now here also Prabhupada mentions ahangraho pashana, okay? And Srila Prabhupada warns us about the deviation that come out of it. Because generally ahangraho pashana is when one worships himself with the idea of becoming God. That's the idea, okay, I will be God, This is the real problem in Kali Yuga actually. There's a lot of them. Because generally why people want to represent themselves as God? Pride. Okay, pride, what else?
Control.
Huh? Power, yes. What else?
Because the reason we came here is because we think.
Okay, you're saying with the reason. But generally people want to be in that position of God position. Why? They want? Huh?
Ego.
Respect, yes.
Control.
Control, yes. Huh? Master, we want followers. We want followers. Yeah? Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim. Yeah? Chaitanya Maharaj says, you don't want these followers. We want fame, pride, prestige. I'm God. Right? If you are CEO or someone, you go to some birthday party, you expect people to introduce you as a CEO to everyone. Right? You have some position. It's true. Because we have that problem. We want people to look up to us. And then we want, after we are recognized, then we will try to control. Right? So the same way also the Guru also must be very careful. He shouldn't want followers, because Mahaprabhu said that, na dhanam, na janam, na sundari. Because these things will come. Right? People bring wealth and give to the Guru. Yeah? They will come, fall at the Guru. Right? Fall and roll. You think, what is happening? Right? And the worship, it's all these are so dangerous, because we are not God, so you have to be very careful. You think proud, what is your pride? Right? You're after all made of earth, water, ether, fire. Your body will deteriorate, goes to the ground, worms will eat and stuff, so what's the big deal? Yeah. So we have to become humble also. Very, very important. So Mahaprabhu says that, I don't want wealth. I don't want to accumulate wealth. Oh my Lord, I don't want wealth, he says. Na dhanam, he says, no wealth, Na dhanam, na janam, I don't want any followers. Yeah. Na sundarim, I don't want any women. Yeah. Similarly, you don't want any men looking at you also. So it's very important. This is very important. Ahituki, he said, Ahetuki toyi. I just want to always continuously worship. That's all I want. Life after life. Mama Janmani Janmarishwari. Life after life. I just want to worship you. So similarly, doesn't matter whether you're guru or a disciple, or all of us should have this mood. I just want to worship that Supreme Lord under the guidance of someone who can guide me. Yeah. So we can never be God because, as I mentioned, God does not become God. And God is always God, and Jiva is always Jiva. Jiva doesn't become any other tattva. Cannot. We are eternally, eternally in our situation. Right? Eternally. That's it. That's it. We can take some roles, but that's about it. Right? You take a role of a father, you take a role of a mother, you take a role of a child. It's all roles. It's just a big grand scheme of drama, big drama going. Right? So again, emphasis should be, we don't evolve in this. I'm emphasizing because we forget easily. We cannot evolve also into God. Yeah. You can't realize one day I'm God also. Because that's some of this in Mayavadis they will say, God is always God. He's eternally God. Therefore, thinking oneself, Prabhupada also mentioned, if you think yourself with God, that is okay. That's ahangraho pasana. Okay. So in that process, you don't become God. But you think of yourself as qualitatively the same, one with the Supreme. So that's okay. But in general, Jiva Goswami writes in his commentary to the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu that the worshipping of oneself as the Supreme is a gross misidentification. Okay? Because he is our eternal shelter, and we cannot merge into him. And if you do that, you become a non-entity. In a sense, you can't. But because you are an individual, eventually you want to have some action, activity. So therefore you fall down again. And the Goswamis always have pointed this out repeatedly. So if you are an intelligent person, but if you are in a Prakrita Sahaja community, they think that this is what is real, that we have misidentified ourselves with this matter. I'm actually God. But their level of understanding God is just Brahman, right? Brahma Jyoti. Yeah. They think God has no form. So that's the other problem with the Mayavadi understanding. It's all bogus. Prabhupada says bogus, fake, fake news. So it's an hallucination to think I'm God. It's an offense against the Supreme Lord to think that the worshipper becomes equal to the Supreme Lord. Prabhupada emphasizes so many parts of the Bhagavatam in all the purports. He makes sure that we get this point right, because tendency is that after some time we forget, right? Even though you've read the Bhagavad Gita so many times, there's so many sections you forget, And then later on you go back and say, why I forgot? I know this, but I forgot. This is the nature of this world. It'll make you forget, and therefore you have to constantly refresh yourself. But if you're in the spiritual world, you are always fresh. Because there's no such thing as getting old and so on. You're ever fresh, like Krishna, Navayovanam. Therefore, he's always in the now, not in the past or the future. But in this material world, we are either in the past, thinking our mind is there, or our mind is in the future. But our mind is never in the present, thinking how to get better. Right? We don't think, I have what I have, I can use this to fix myself. We don't think like that. So if someone eats, right? If someone eats and sleeps, gets sick, grows old, dies, needs followers, needs money, needs worship, they are not God. Yeah. But of course, Mahaprabhu, when he's pastime, you see him eating, sleeping. Sometimes he's showing symptoms of being sick. But he never grew old. Mahaprabhu never grew old. Nor did he die. He disappeared. Right? Yeah. And he wasn't interested in followers. If someone was following, he'll run, disappear, run away. Yeah, yeah. He wasn't after any rich or wealth. Because if you read the first verse in the Bhagavatam, Janmadhyasya Itaratas Chartesu Abhigya Swarad. Krishna is Swarad. He's independent. He doesn't need any of this thing. Yeah. Right? So we take all these factors, the description of what's given, then we understand this is God. He doesn't need to worship anyone. Krishna doesn't worship anyone. He doesn't even worship himself. So, so that's something. Although sometimes some people will say Krishna was worshipping Ravana, or what is that? Ram was worshipping, right? Shiva and things like that. But not. He was just respecting. Yeah, that was not worshipping as a supreme. He's just worshipping as his devotee, glorifying his devotee. So we have to be careful when we read such things. Right? So, and also in the discussion between Narada and Brahma, we find that Brahma is he says, I'm not God, I'm his servant. Yeah. Right? If someone comes and say you're so good, and so you're like, oh yeah, thank you. Right? You feel good, But we can also say, no, not really. Maybe I know something, but I'm not really the other people better, but maybe you see some good in me, thank you. But I'm not. So we have to always reflect back and say that, actually, am I really that good? Yeah? No, I'm not, yeah. Yeah, so as a disciple, you have to be intelligent, you should be thoughtful, you should know your scriptures, so read Prabhupada's books, observe carefully, practice seeing things, see how the Guru does certain things, so you can follow nicely also. And then you ask questions to clarify doubts, not for challenging purposes. So, read Prabhupada's books, then take notes of what the qualities of the Supreme Lord all the qualities. And then also Prabhupada talks about the roles of Guru, so you can take notes like that. And then, and that's basically what Narada is doing here. Particularly nowadays it's so important because there's so many self-appointed gods or Godhead, right? They really don't. They don't even have to say they're God. They're trying to act like God. Like you are, nothing against the present president, but he is, right? The way he acts and speaks, like as if he feels he's God. All the other leaders in other countries, they all act like that. Like without them, nothing can happen in the world. Or not just God. Some say they are incarnations. Right? You can dime a dozen, like in some parts of the world, And therefore you get terms like Daridara Narayana, right? There's a beggar in the street and he's called. It's so unfortunate, but that's how it is, yeah. Or you even find people who say they're very enlightened, they have rich samadhi, yeah. Right? But many years ago there was a guy who said he was God, and his mother was making a big thing. I forgot their name. This was in the 70s and 80s. But then one day he had a toothache. So God had to go to a dentist. So it's kind of ridiculous, but that's what. So then there was another case also in India. The mother had 2 children, the boy and a girl, I think twins or something. So the boy she promoted as the god, and then after some time he had a falling out with some lady. So the mother said, he's not God. Now my daughter is God. So it's very fascinating to see the world spin, So people are easily misled, actually. If you study, 90% of the population are actually moved by 10% or even less percentage of people who are very powerful, right? Like even in America, 1% of the population is very wealthy, filthy, you can call them filthy rich. And they actually make sure their terms are being met by the governing body, They own I was reading recently, $55 trillion. That's filthy rich. They own so much money, so they can actually, not just US, the whole world, they can force things to happen. So you should understand, because they have money, they can do what they want, and the ordinary people who are ignorant are easily misled, because they don't know the difference. And you don't want the ordinary people to become too intelligent, so you make sure the education system is screwed up. So that's what you find, yeah. And they don't know, ordinary people don't know what does God mean, right? They don't know. They don't know what a guru is, they don't know who's a yogi, they don't know who's a cheater or a bogey. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. So again, just to review, if you see someone as God, you should know that if someone claims to be God and shows symptoms of an ordinary person, you should reject them. Otherwise, you will be exploited, you will be disappointed, you will eventually, or they will lead you astray from spiritual also. And then you will lose faith in the whole process of seeking God Himself. Yeah. So God is honored. No, spiritual mass is honored, as good as God, right? And anyone claiming to be God without the proper criteria should be rejected. Mahaprabhu always closed his ear, right, when he was saying, because that's the way, he didn't want people to see him as God. So you have to inquire intelligently to see how things are balanced as a disciple, and anyone who holds any leadership position must always be also humble also. So some points to reflect. And Prabhupada always says Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. So you always use these 3 things as your accounting system so that you don't get cheated. Yeah. And then we can remain faithful. Okay, I'll stop here. I think it's 8:23. Comments, questions, reflections, correction.
So Maharaj,
No school? Oh, school by phone. The online school. Okay, you're going later.
so very nice class, Maharaj. So there are some gurus who say they have a direct connection and they can with God, and then they talk to God, or they get the directions, and they don't claim God, but they say they have the direct access to it, and say, okay, I got direction, you need to do this, they instruct. Is that the legitimate, how?
As I mentioned, Haribo, yeah, as I mentioned, there should be the three things, Guru, Sadhana, Shastra. So if he or whoever says they have, is it shastrically valid what they're saying, right? And are there any saints in that category who can verify that this person is, Yeah. It's not going to be easy, especially in this age. So therefore, even identifying Mahaprabhu as God at his time was not easy. Even Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was studying him very carefully and going through the Shastra. And then he said, this person is almost seems like God himself. Obviously, when the Lord exhibited the Mahabhav symptoms, and nobody can imitate that, Yeah, so then they can understand it. So there are people who are going to tell you they have direct connection to God, but by observing their lifestyle, how they are behaving, how they are speaking, you know whether they are God or not God. If they indulge in watching Netflix and so on, then it cannot be God. Right? You can always ask them, what do you do, spare time, Huh?
Talking to God, you might say.
Yeah, talking to God, why? Yeah, they will say something, but you can watch. It's not like they can remain covered for long. You can just, sometimes, they can say nice things, but if you hear carefully, you find that they are not God actually. Yeah. Simply hearing, you will know. Yeah.
Just my realization, Maharaj, when we moved to Austin, and Satsar Prabhu called one day to my wife afternoon, and then he spoke like 45 minutes during a weekday, very beginning. I was frightened. He's a director and company working, and why is
Right.
in the weekday, and then is he not working and he's not busy? So why he is, talking? What is
my wife? Yeah.
Yeah, what is going? I mean, not that is it, but
No,
I was
you have
worried.
every right to feel. Yeah.
He's he's like something tricking.
Yes. Yeah.
I couldn't believe beginning because there are so many outside.
Cheaters. Yeah.
But like I just said, I have to observe myself to to really to believe myself. It took a time, same like how they're practicing, how they are living day to day, how they are But trust me, from that day and to here, my faith is completely whatever I got understanding after observing it, and then even after a decade, I still believe it's okay. So it's God's mercy, able to get association.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
I'm sure Satyasat doesn't do 45-minute talks anymore. So. But the point is, you're right. Yeah, because you're intelligent enough to know, and so you watch and observe and see what is he saying. Is it affecting in the right way? Or one is transforming someone into a better person. But the other thing is you are transforming them into antagonistic towards the family and going towards the other person for sense enjoyment. Then you can understand this is not a spiritual life. Yeah. So what you did was right. Yeah. But it also could be a problem. Let's say you are atheist, right? And then you don't like spiritual life, and she wants to do it. You can also come to the same conclusion. He's a nonsense. Yeah. So generally, when you have conflicts like that, it all depends on how you approach it, or the devotee is preaching, how they are approaching the other person. If they know that the husband is atheistic, and they should also understand, I shouldn't be talking so long. It should be in a environment where there's other people also, where you're preaching equally. Yeah. So care should be taken. Yeah. Otherwise, blames can be easily put on others. Yeah. Yeah.
Can you explain, Maharaj, in detail?
What did it? About? Well, if your husband is atheistic and you are favorable, then the preacher shouldn't just talk to you, right? It should be in a group with the atheist. So he will also observe. He may argue, but then the other people will also speak back and say, no, this is how we see God. So it's better to have support like that. Well, it's not like that. I'm saying, first of all, the husband shouldn't think this man is taking my wife away. Okay? Secondly, if he's an atheistic person, then he'll argue, and then he'll say, stop talking or listening. He can ban you and so on from going. But if your friends and everyone are listening and saying it's favorable, then he may not argue so much. Hopefully he has some good intelligence where he can say, okay.
But wife wanted to move forward, like what to do wife as a wife?
Wife wants to move forward. There's no one stopping you from making advancement. If both of them are devotees, there's no harm.
If atheistic husband is there, wife wants to move forward to the spiritual side.
Then she has to practice on her own, quietly.
That spiritual strength won't come beginning, right?
Yeah, won't. But if you are determined, the Lord will arrange for you. I've seen it. So basically, maybe you don't go so much to the temple, but then you can watch on live streaming and so on. Yeah, otherwise, they can only control you so much. The husband or the wife, Yeah. If you're also determined to know Krishna, understand, then the Lord will arrange for you to have, Extreme cases are when they move out of the house. Yeah. They are extreme. I've seen it also. So they are extreme cases. But in generally, although they appear atheistic, they are not really atheistic. They just become frustrated with so many false guru and gods, There are many people like that, But you're right. If your husband is harsh and very demoniac, like Hiranyakashipu, then you have to... Prabhupada said you should leave such a person, Yeah. But if they are okay with you taking the process, then that's fine. They may not be interested, but that's okay, In Kali Yuga, there are many combinations. It's, right? Infinite number of combinations. So they're not very atheistic, a little bit atheistic, completely atheistic, and or devotional also. But I think, I don't think, I know, if you practice sincerely, then Krishna will protect you. Like he protected Prahlad Maharaj. Right? Although his father was an atheist, Okay,
So you said that like Guru give you Krishna. So
speak on the...
hello. I don't think.
It doesn't work? Feedback? Okay, go on.
So you mentioned like Guru give you Krishna. So I need to understand like he give the access or process to attain Krishna or instill faith on Krishna or how?
All of it.
All
of it.
Give you Krishna as in like he will not, without my endeavor it will not come, right?
You have to work towards it, The Guru is always seeing and testing. Prabhupada writes in the Bhagavad Gita, the secret to developing Krishna consciousness or getting bhakti is pleasing the spiritual master. Because the spiritual master is not interested in material things. So when the disciple is genuine and wants to, then he prays to the Lord to give the disciple that bhakti. Yeah, that's what it is. And when the Guru is pleased, the super soul in the heart, Krishna is also pleased. Then you get the mercy from the Lord. Yeah, yeah. So everything you do, if you do it for the pleasure of your Guru, sometimes your Guru you think doesn't know, but the super soul is in the heart. So the Guru will know. Or when he sees you, he'll feel some pleasure or happiness seeing you. So he knows you are doing well. Somehow or other the Guru will know, don't worry. And your Guru Maharaj is a pure devotee, so don't worry. He will know you are working hard. Yeah. Yeah. Well, Prabhupada's, all Prabhupada's disciples who are very sincere, they are all pure-hearted, yeah. Pure souls, yeah.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, it seems very
Since
common.
we are not using the microphone, you don't need to pass it around.
It looks like a baton. Hare Krishna. It seems pretty common sense that Guru cannot be God. Still, we see that so many innocent people are actually being cheated in that term. And I'm saying even people whom I know closely, they also So what is the actual cause? You probably touched it, but still if you could.
It's basically ignorance, tamas. You're meeting people who are deeply engrossed in the mode of ignorance. There are layers and layers of different, both karmic reactions as well as ignorance itself, lack of knowledge and all. So, although we think, we should know, sometimes it appears logical for us, But for someone who's not spiritually inclined, it's not a question of logic for them. Logical also, it doesn't appear to them. It is like, what are you talking about? And so in the same way, when they are ignorant and they like something, it is based on ignorance, that understanding. And to clear that ignorance will take maybe sometimes for some people lifetimes. For others, maybe because the mercy of the devotees is very powerful, so it can remove their doubts. And that's why you find, although it seems from you, because you have purified your existence, so you can see clearly, your buddhi is purified, whereas their buddhi is contaminated, and so they are seeing through a different lens. And they are not able to see the faults and so on. Just like in this country, same example, the president again, right? 50% of the population disagrees with him, the other 50% agrees. And it's, some people will say, well, how, right? Why you say he's okay? Although he has been in court and, committed, right, 34 felonies or whatever, still people support him. Why? Because they don't see that as an issue. Yeah. Because their understanding is he's still doing good for me. Yeah. So you can understand this is how powerful the material energy is. It can cover every level, every living entity is covered. You identifying with your body. So in the same way we identify with this understanding that he is good. Yeah. It's okay, he's just doing it for like that. So we can cover our own intelligence in the false way and believe in that, you can also keep saying the same thing, right? There's a saying in English also. You give a dog a bad name and hang it, right? Why? After some time everyone will believe that. There's a short story I can tell you. This man had a very nice goat, and he was taking every day, So this gundas or whatever they were watching, and they were thinking, we have to get that goat, And but he was a Brahmana, and so he was taking his goat and milk it and come back and do seva. So this Gundas are thinking how to get the goat because they want to. So then they made a plan, and so the three of them, they said, okay, you stay in this place, another one of another part of the village, and another. So they say, what the plan was, every time the Brahmana comes with his goat, they should say, hey, you're a Brahmana, why are you taking a dog? So then the Brahmana will say, no, this is a goat, what you can, no, it's a dog. And then say, okay, what is happening? This is Kali Yuga, Brahmanas are doing what they want, and then they walk away. So he came to another point in the village, another part of that. So this other Gunda comes and say, hey, Brahmana, why are you taking a dog? So then go to the end of the village, he has to go and do his job and come back. Another Gunda came and say, hey. So by the third Gunda saying, the Brahmana was thinking, something is wrong with my eye. I've been taking this dog for so many years. And then he told the third guy, what am I supposed to do? He said, don't worry, I can take care of your dog and you can be a Brahmana. Yeah. So then the Brahmana believed that. Although he could see it looks like a goat, it bleeds like a goat, it walks like a goat, but it is not goat. He believed it's a dog. Yeah. It's the same thing in life also. We can be covered by different layers, and that's why you find problems in life. Yeah. As long as you are, mostly we make mistakes due to avidya. Yeah. So we have to rise above that. Okay. Anything else? Yes.
When you are saying that the ignorance covers,
Yeah.
so I have one small doubt. Like there is one Babaji in Vrindavan named as Premanand Maharaj. Premanand Maharaj.
Yeah.
So many devotees from ISKCON are going to meet him. I mean, they are taking some blessings with him. So I was wondering one day why so many devotees are going and taking blessings from him. So I started I listened one lecture of his. When I listened, he was completely it's completely Mayavadi philosophy. I was in shock. Oh my God, he's completely explaining about Mayavadi philosophy. So why devotees are going and taking blessings? So how to understand? I mean, even Prabhupada disciples are also going and taking some conversations. I don't know what's going on, but how to understand that? Why is it? I mean, their ignorance is covered, or how to?
Mostly we do things because we may make a mistake. There are many levels again. We make a mistake, and due to pride, we may not admit we made a mistake, and we continue to do the mistake. That's one thing. We don't want people to think I'm a fool, right? And so we continue to do this foolish thing. And that's one level. The other thing is, the Babaji may be having a silver tongue, right? That means he knows how to speak in very nice ways, and you are bewildered and not able to detect the Mayavad philosophy that's there. Or, sometimes people will talk nicely to some people and they may reveal their true nature to other people. So confusion could be based on that. And then the last reason why devotees go and to all these Babajis is because they are not reading Prabhupada's books. Simple thing. Yeah. So then they hear all these Babajis talk something, oh wow, so nice. Yeah. This is the problem in our movement. Every speaker wants to speak something fantastic. Right? Everybody wants to speak something. So everyone like, wow, this is nice. But we don't need all that. We need Prabhupada's books, analyze and read nicely. We just give Prabhupada's teachings, and we find that we can elevate people's consciousness based on that. They don't need to know about Radha's pastime with Krishna at this stage. That will come when Krishna and Radha wants to reveal the pastime. Otherwise, unnecessarily we hear all this and say, oh, the Prabhu is so nice, he's talked. Okay, you want to hear this pastime, but what have you changed in your life? You go to those kind of, how have you changed? How have you become better? Right? So we have to see all that, and then we can see, no, it's not, have no effect for me. I'm still the hardcore person. Yeah, thank you. Anything else? We can end. People need to run to school. Oh, you have a quick question. Are you going to say it quickly, or the question is a short question?
I don't think it's a small question.
Okay.
I think it's relative to everyone, but for me, religion is a very sensitive topic, especially because my age, everyone's always questioning everything. And so I don't really discuss much about, like, why do I follow what I follow. I kind of do what my parents say. But lately, when I search up a lot about ISKCON, I've always seen the
Feedback to the phone, yeah?
Too close.
the ideology that ISKCON is some sort of cult. No way do I believe that. But how do you disprove that, or I guess work around it and say it's not?
Generally, cult means we follow. Generally, cult means they are not following. The word cult is actually means part of culture. The present usage of cult is a misrepresentation. It's a misnomer. Cult means part of culture. Now, cult is a very derogative term, Yeah. You can always tell them. Ours is based on the Vedic scriptures. It's the oldest religion. Yeah. So therefore, it's not something that is made up by men. Not something that is, feels good kind of things we are doing, It's not a trend also. It's been done over thousands of years. So you're just following that. And you can also say our practice is more orthodox than the present Hindu culture, right? So people can then understand this is an old system that we are doing. And you can say, you can invite people to your home, or you can give them books if they want to know, small books. You don't have to give them Bhagavad Gita. Based on that, you can do that. But best just give them just prasadam, cookies and stuff like that. So, yeah. Yeah, so you just distribute that, and you find they become, because prasadam is like a vaccine, it purifies them so they can understand what you're saying. Because mostly people grow up in this culture, they don't know, it's gross ignorance, right? They are covered by materialism, but when you take prasadam, it will remove some layers of this ignorance. So their questions may be more clearly answered when you say based on Krishna. Yeah, you can say God is a person. I see that, and I can feel Him in my life. And that's why I am the way I am. Yeah, right. Yeah, and they like that kind of. When you talk in that way, you can say that. And I'm learning how to love everyone also. Yeah, this is part of our culture. Yeah, God loves everyone, so we also have to learn how to love others. Yeah, this is our practice. So what's wrong with that? It's cool, man. Right? Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Maharaj, there is a question online.
That's a question online?
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of the purport of Srila Prabhupada mentioned we have to worship Guru more than God. How can I understand that?
Yeah, you can worship. That means you do, what is that? Yasha prasadam, Bhagavad prasadam, Yasha prasadam, Nagati kutopi, Dayam stuvam stasya, Yastri sandhyam. So 3 times daily you should worship the Guru. Because he will guide you and teach you how to go back to Godhead. So therefore you worship. At the present moment, we don't know how to worship God Himself. Right? Everyone goes to a temple, they look at the Archa Vigraha and say, Hari Bol. Right? They don't even know what to say in prayer also. So the Guru will teach them how to pray to the murtis and so on, right? The Guru teaches you how to worship the deities also. So therefore it's more important to worship the Lord, Guru, but not to worship him as God himself. Yeah. Okay. We need to stop, no?
Yes.
Yeah.
She's going to give summary and go.
Okay. All right, we'll have the summary. Yeah, you want to use the...
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you so much for a wonderful class. Based on your class, you said two different points, identifying who the spiritual master is and distinguishing him between God. I think you really emphasized that throughout, there's different ways that one can really not distinguish, saying that one is actually God himself, one can, like my dad said, one can hear God. There's different ways that one kind of misinterprets what God is and if he's like a conveyor or he is God himself. You also say to not really blindly accept who spiritual master is and to question, not in like a wrong sense, but to question as in, are we following the right footsteps? Because just because a spiritual master is there, they aren't God themselves, but they represent God. So we treat them as God. We accept their advice and anything that we need to take, like any criticisms, but in no way do we ever accept and say they are God themselves and we should only pray to them. And we should also have humility when we approach someone to ask this question, have a genuine connection, and actually understand beforehand what we're supposed to ask, or else it will not be like we're blindly going in, just saying it just to ask, just saying it just to say it, but saying it with understanding that we want to learn more. I think that's mainly much of it, but you also take Narada Muni and his, the example from that verse, Narada Muni, and how he questions, well, he doesn't necessarily question, but he tries to understand more from his dad, who is the guru, about why is he praying to Brahma, though Brahma is praying to a higher superior. And through that, he learns more about God and who he prays to more. Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you so much. Thank you, Maharaj, for a wonderful class. Jai.